Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about 6th edition, Kate Welch and Hamilton, the play. All right. Okay, so Kate Welch, who is the brand new Dungeons & Dragons A-Team game designer, right? She was recently hired just like a month or two ago, early in 2018, and she's right now working with Mike Mearls and Chris Perkins, and she's a full-time employee of Wizards of the Coast. She is designing current 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons material, right? In addition to that, I have a theory, J. Scott Garibay has a theory, that Kate Welch will absolutely, without a doubt, be the lead designer for 6th edition Dungeons & Dragons, and that's what is happening right now at Wizards of the Coast, is that she is being protéged by Mike Mearls and Chris Perkins. She's also meeting with John Harper, external to Wizards of the Coast, right? And so I think that what's happening right now is she's getting prepped to take on that 6E, that lead 6E design role. Now, I could talk for an hour on why I believe that that's true, but there's just a whole lot of math and a whole lot of logic that leads to Kate Welch will be the lead designer for 6E, okay? Now, with that said, Kate Welch has emerged as a celebrity game designer, right? Mike Mearls and Chris Perkins were both, I think, reluctantly became celebrity game designers, right? Actually, Chris Perkins really kind of carved out that space, right? But at this point, watching Kate Welch, who's a visual artist, who is a video game designer, and who is essentially a web design, where she has expertise in all three of those fields. One of the things I think is she has understood, being closer to those three areas, has understood the importance of celebrity game design, the importance of being a celebrity game design, even before she came into the role. She was also connected to Penny Arcade, and those guys have turned celebrity into money for 2 decades. By the way, I'm huge fans of Microholic and Jerry Hulkins. Penny Arcade is really, really important organization, and Kate Welch came from them, all right? So here's the thing. Kate is now embracing her role as a celebrity game designer. And what does that mean? What does that mean for us, right? Well, one of the things is she's very savvily using her social media to elevate the things in her life that are exciting and that are visually exciting and auditorially exciting and culturally exciting, right? And so one of the things that she recently posted was that she went to see the Hamilton play, okay? So let's talk about Hamilton, right? And so that's what I'm talking about today is, what is the impact on 6th edition Dungeons & Dragons because Kate Welch went to see Hamilton? Well, I will say right now, in my opinion, they're quite enormous, right? Like, it's a big, big deal that Kate Welch, the celebrity game designer for 5th edition now, in my opinion, will be the lead designer for 6th edition. What does that mean, right? Well, one, let's talk a minute about Hamilton, right? So Hamilton is an absolutely groundbreaking piece of art. What it does is it tells the story of Alexander Hamilton, who was one of our founding fathers, right? And one of the, the pillars of American culture, of American government. One of the pillars of American government, an incredible writer, right? In American history. And much of the stability of our current American government is due to Alexander Hamilton, right? Well, a gentleman by the name of Lin-Manuel Miranda, right, came along and he took Alexander Hamilton's life and he created a story that tells the entirety of Hamilton's life through hip-hop. Another great American element of culture, okay? Cultural element, all right? Now, it's incredibly important that Kate Welch has gone to see Hamilton, and the reason why is, this is another theory that I've been, this isn't a theory, actually. This is something, so I believe that hip-hop and Dungeons & Dragons are bound by time, okay? So get this. Hip-hop and Dungeons & Dragons are exactly the same age by year. They are birthed a few months apart, not even a full year, separates when hip-hop was born and when Dungeons and Dragons was born. DJ Kool Herc brought hip-hop out in the late 1973. Dungeons and Dragons was first published in early 1974, okay? So hip-hop and Dungeons and Dragons are exactly the same age, right? And so, in many ways, it kind of makes sense that somebody who would be a big Dungeons and Dragons fan would be drawn to hip-hop. And one of the reasons why is the communities between hip-hop and Dungeons and Dragons are incredibly alike, right? So the D&D community has impacted culture, right? American culture, in ways that have never been seen before by any game. Hip-hop impacted American culture in ways that have never, ever been seen by actually hip-hop and D&D, like these two products. And their communities are incredibly alike as well, right? So they both impacted American culture in really unique ways and in unexpected ways. They both had huge problems with problematic aspects of their origin, right? They both have dealt with incredible highs where they've been embraced by the highest scholars of the nation, and incredible lows when they've been called out by mothers groups, that said, this is too much for the children, right? They're so alike, right? Hip-hop and D&D. And I think the reason why is they're bound by time, right? The other thing is, look at, like West Coast, East Coast beef, right? How's that any different than the Edition Wars, right? Now, early on, the West Coast, East Coast beef was a lot more like, it wasn't just people throwing shade at each other. There was more than throwing shade in the early days. But nowadays, there's very little difference between East Coast, West Coast beef and Edition Wars, right? There's just an incredible amount of synonymousness between hip-hop and D&D, right? They both have Crucible tools, right? So hip-hop has the mixer, right? The 2-turntable mixer. And Dungeons and Dragons has polyhedral dice. These tools that are crucial to doing the thing, right? And so there's just so much. And one of the things I'm excited about is I'm not sure that anybody is really talking about the time bind between hip-hop and Dungeons and Dragons. But by going to see Hamilton, Kate Welch takes one step further into understanding that link between them, right? And one of the things is we can see a flow between the two, right? Right now, hip-hop has been really impacted by basketball, right? What if D&D became a major theme in American hip-hop today, Or what if D&D took all kinds of elements from hip-hop and infused them right into 6th edition, right? But by Kate Welch going to see Hamilton and seeing some of the best rap music that's ever been created in the last 10 years by the best rapper, by one of the best rappers. I wouldn't say Lin-Manuel Miranda's better than Kendrick Lamar, but he's darn close, right? And he's certainly better than a lot of rap, like Migos. Come on, so Lin-Manuel Miranda is an incredible rapper, right? And so when Kate Welch, who is being spun up to lead, in my opinion, 6th edition, right? When she's watching this incredibly culturally important, play that deals with hip hop and deals with American history, right? I really feel that's going to impact 6th edition. So how is it going to impact it directly? Well, the biggest, most direct links, in my opinion, is, I think for almost positive, we know that bards will be in the core classes, right? Bards have popped in and out of core classes through the editions, right? They weren't in every edition, right? And there's been a decision every time a new edition of Dungeons and Dragons comes up. People are like, "Do we have room for bards?" Bards are not first on the list, and they should not be first on the list, right? What should be first on the list? Rogue, cleric, wizard, right? And fighter, excuse me. So, and I'll tell you right now, I think, even those 4, I'm not sure those 4 will be in the next 6 heat. I think there's an incredible amount of pressure already building to take out the cleric. I would not be surprised to see cleric gone in 6th edition. By the way, that decision, in my opinion, Kate Welch will be there to make the decision, in my opinion. But it really, the pressure to get rid of the cleric, that's not on her. Like, that's been going on for a while, right? And more, the cleric, like you can be a cleric that doesn't even have a god. That came in 5th edition. I don't think that was a good choice, right? It's a deconstruction of the cleric, and we see an arc to where the cleric may be gone, right? But absolutely, the question on whether a bard would be there, that question has been answered has been raised and answered in every edition. And there are editions where the bard was not in the core class list, right? Well, I think, without a doubt, you don't go see Hamilton and then take the bard out of Dungeons and Dragons. That doesn't happen, right? That's just, and again, a lot of this is math. That's just logic. That's pure logic, right? So, and then in addition to that, what is the most exciting thing in Hamilton? Well, the most exciting thing for any D&D enthusiast, right, is dueling. There's dueling all up in Hamilton. People die, like, in Hamilton in duels, right? And multiple people, right? And dueling is a major theme in Hamilton. And I think Kate Welch will see the excitement of dueling, how really unique it is from entering into combat in groups and pattern combat, things like that. Whereas dueling is much more, in line. It's more isolated, right? And I think we'll get rules in the core rule book for dueling, right? And that'll come straight from Hamilton, right? The other thing that I wanted to say is, I'm really excited how Kate Welch is using her social media. She's being very open. She's showing the things that are exciting about her life right now. And one of the things is she's showing people, I'm grateful for being here. I'm excited to be talking about gnome lore all day, right? I'm really excited that I got picked for this role, right? That my skill set was chosen above any other skill set, right? And she's showing people, hey, I realize how important this job is, and just really, demonstrating that not only does she know how important it is that she was chosen, right? But that she's making the best of it and really enjoying her life, because it's enjoyable. She has the job that literally tens of thousands of people wanted, right? And so, it's really exciting. The other thing that I'm really excited about, when Kate Welch goes to see Hamilton, in my opinion, that is an expression that 6e is going to carry a desire for minority voices within the product, right? So we have some incredible minority voices within our community, right? The biggest one that I'm a fan of is Lewis Porter Jr. I think he's the best game designer, third-party game designer out there. I really would love to see him folded into 6th edition, and I think now there's a real decent chance that could happen, because I think when it's time to build that 6th edition design team, I think Kate Welch will be in position to choose who that is, right? And then when that happens, I think that she will choose minority voices. And so if you get Lewis Porter Jr. on there, you're going to get somebody who has been living and breathing tabletop role-playing games for, 15, 20 years, and really, or maybe longer. He's just an incredible talent, right? I'm also excited that maybe some of the talent that has left and gone over to video games, right, could swing back. So she has connections to the video game world, and I would be very surprised if she's not aware of Mike Pondsmith. Mike Pondsmith is, he's kind of a veteran tabletop role-playing game designer. But Mike Pondsmith wrote Dream Park, and he worked for Artalasorian, and he worked on the Mechton games, and he worked on Cyberpunk 2020. I think he wrote Cyberpunk 2020, which is incredible, right? That guy, and actually he was in tabletop role-playing games for a long time. He's an incredible talent, and much of the incredible talent, both visual artists and writers, many of them get swept up by video games. I honestly believe, I doubt for 1 second that Mike Pondsmith went to the video game market because he had a stronger love for video games than he did for tabletop role-playing games. I think the reason he went was there's a lot of money in video games, right? And I think he's a family guy, and if you're a family person, if you have a family, you want the best for them, right? And there's a ton of money in video games. And so, just the idea that Mike Pondsmith could come back and be on the 6th edition team because Kate Welch was willing to go to Hamilton because she went to Hamilton and saw the power of a minority product, right? A singular vision from a minority, and how transformative that can be, right? And I think, the voices of Mike Pondsmith, the voices of Lewis Porter Jr. could be transformative to 6th edition. So, I'm going to wrap this up. Basically, I don't think you can underestimate the importance of Kate Welch going to Hamilton and how that's going to be a direct line impact to 6th edition, right? I'm really, really excited about everything that's happening with Kate Welch at Wizards of the Coast. I'm really excited about how she is gathering the right influences to make 6th edition powerful. Take care.